Welcome to Lesson 6, which is on calorimetry. Today we're going to learn what a calorimeter is and, more importantly, how to use a calorimeter. It's a piece of lab equipment, and what we're going to use it for, although you can use it for a lot of things, what we're going to use it for is to be able to measure the heat capacity or the specific heat capacity of a metal. Now, we don't have to do it with these two metals over here that I have in the picture, because it turns out we know what these metals are and we can just look up their heat capacities in a book. But in other metals that we aren't sure what they are, being able to measure the specific heat is a great way to identify them. If you don't know what a metal is, it's a way of kind of figuring out what it is. So we're going to learn that today. Before we get to that though, what we're going to do here is we're going to take these two metals, just like we did with the water, and we're going to throw them on the stove. You can see right now they're pretty close to the same temperature, but in a second they're going to heat up, and just like before, we're going to assume that the stove is going to supply the same amount of heat to each one. So we're going to start today's lesson with a bit of a prediction. If I were to turn the stove on with these two metals, based on their heat capacity that I looked up in a book, which one of these two do you think is going to have the biggest change in temperature? Now, that's going to require you to remember what heat capacity is. So you can go back and look at your previous lesson if you've forgotten. But in your prediction, you're going to say, I think that either copper or I think that aluminum will have the biggest change in temperature. And as part of your argument, I want you to explain what heat capacity means. Okay, stop the lesson and go make that prediction.